smell of the game.
Hello there everybody, this is Mizuki Ravendale here, and today I know it's a bit different than my normal Thursday videos, but I figured I would give this a try because I really just thought of this idea today and I thought it would be cool. But I don't know the name of the series yet, if I'm going to make it into a series, but if you guys like the video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And we also have Zay Woofy Floof here.
Excuse me, is, just Jane on? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Hello there, Woofy Floof. And today we're going to be talking about Babe's first experience at watching Yu Yu Hakusho. Which he silently he says he hates me for it, but he actually don't, because in a sense this was my payback for you getting me addicted to Gurren Lagann.
Yes, Tag Topa Gurren Lagann, one of the best animes ever freaking made.
It was a really good anime, and I'm sad I missed out on that growing up.
Well, funny enough, I first got into it back in I think it was 2010 or 2009 when I first saw it, all because I saw pictures of Yoko and I was like, holy crap, where she's from. She's bad looking.
Instant waifu.
And at the time I totally watched the series in a total legal way. I definitely wasn't a pirate on that.
But anyways, Yu Yu. So, how we're gonna go about this is we're gonna go based on the arcs and what your thoughts are on each arc.
Okay.
So, you know, the very first arc that we start off with is the whole Spirit Detective arc. When Yusuke first becomes a Spirit Detective.
Ah, yes, the arc that started it all.
Yes, that one.
Now, naturally, obviously, right, when I first watched it, I didn't know what to expect. I've heard of Yu Yu Hakusho, obviously, characters. When we jumped into that first arc, I was kind of shocked that I don't know how to, because I literally have to remember emotions I was feeling while watching it.
It's okay. Try to word it. Just try to word it as best you can.
Okay. The first arc was definitely interesting because obviously you know we are introduced to our main cast.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we start out with Yusuke getting hit by a car, and him meeting Botan and Toddler Breath, aka Koema. And obviously, right, you know, we get introduced to Keiko, Yusuke's mother,
Kuwabara.
And his crew, and then we end up being introduced to, of course, Kurama and Hiei.
Yeah.
And what kind of amazed me about this show was how different it was. Because a lot of animes, a lot of shonen animes, they tend to take a lot of DNA from Dragon Ball. Now, keep in mind, Yu Yu does have Dragon Ball DNA in it. Especially the later seasons when, like, it becomes more action-focused.
And when Kuwabara tries doing a Kamehameha.
The first arc was interesting because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the first arc where we meet Genkai and also Rondo, the first
Yes,
villain,
because
technically the first villain.
Yes, because that's when Yusuke and Kuwabara went into that tournament to be trained under her.
And let me tell you, that whole forest part, I could definitely see where Kishimoto got the idea for the one forest.
The forest of
during
death.
The tuning exam.
Yeah, the forest of death.
Yeah, very similar. But yeah, you know, the first arc was pretty good. It was definitely a good introduction to the series, and you know, I definitely enjoyed it and you know, it's the humble beginnings. Much like how OG Dragon Ball is the humble beginnings.
Yep. So, next arc, the Dark Tournament arc.
Aren't we going to talk about the four?
Oh yeah, Suzaku. Burr! My brain.
And then there's also the kind of the prelude to the Dark Tournament arc where we meet Yukina.
Yeah. Where they have to go say. Okay, never mind. My bad. Yeah, but also that first arc, they have to go to Suzaku's castle in Demon World to save the human world because Suzaku's released these insects into human world to literally turn everyone into zombies. Quite literally.
Which is ironic because in the live action Yu Yu, they changed it to where it's Sakyu that
is the one.
The bugs.
Yeah. So, what's your opinion on all that during all that?
Some of the sacred beasts, right? That's what they were called, right?
Yeah, they were sacred beasts. There was Seiryu, Byakko, I know the one that was like the rock demon, started with a G. And then there was, who was the fourth one? I will put the name of the fourth one in the video when I'm editing this, but yeah.
I didn't mind them as villains. Some of them I did like, but when it comes to Suzaku and his damn bird, I wanted them to shut up.
I remember that too when we was watching it. You kept asking me, do they ever shut up? There's me over here going, no. No, they don't. And
keep in mind, when we start talking about the other villains, the quote-unquote villains, you're going to be hearing a completely different tune from me with them.
This is true. I can attest to this.
But yeah, you know, that was a great arc to pretty much introduce Team Urameshi. And their dynamic, which even back, you know, even during the first mission together, they were very well in sync. Even if Hiei was tempted to, yeah, well, even if Hiei was tempted to betray them, especially the part where there's that wall that's coming down on them.
Oh yeah, and Hiei's the only fastest one out of all of them that could go and pull the switch. Yep,
and then he decides to troll them by like not hitting the switch.
It's hilarious. Because and I like how the creator did that because it makes you in anticipation like, Hiei, just pull the switch for the love of God. Hiei.
When it comes to the, kind of the, I guess the prologue to the Dark Tournament arc where we first introduced the Yukina and Sakyu and one of my favorite characters in Yu Yu.
Toguro.
Younger motherfrickin' Toguro.
And you'll understand why once we start talking about the Dark Tournament arc.
Oh my god. introduce what was essentially going to become one of the best tournament arcs I've ever seen in anime.
Well, let me tell you right now, when we started this arc, Babe did not want to stop. I remember this specifically. You did not want to stop. Because you wanted to keep seeing what was going to happen next.
Yeah. When it comes to the first time we were introduced to Yukina and the Toguro brothers, actually, I think we're introduced to the whole team Toguro during that arc, aren't we?
I think so. Like, they show subtle... I think they showed subtle silhouettes of them.
Yeah. But what's interesting, though, too, during that arc, the first enemies that they fight, it is these group of pawns that Toguro hired. And of course, Yusuke just the best line in anime history to that one chick.
Yeah. I know exactly which line you're talking about, too. And for context, I will probably edit it in.
Mm-hmm.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. Anyways, you can continue with what you was going to say there with the pawns.
And, of course, I want to punt them for hurting Yukina.
Oh, God.
I definitely really wanted to punt them in the freaking live-action one.
Yeah! The live-action one kind of made what they did to Yukina a bit worse than what they did in the anime.
Yep. And then, of course, we're introduced to the Dark Tournament arc.
Yeah.
And then we find out what's inside the egg that Yusuke has.
Boo!
It's poo.
Pooh's adorable, though.
He is. He really is. What to say about this arc? As I said, it is one of the best tournament arcs I've ever seen.
It's a really good tournament arc. Even I can agree on that.
The fact that this tournament is literally, basically, let's be honest, it is quite literally Mortal Kombat.
Quite literally.
You're not it's not like Dragon Ball 2 where like, oh well, you know, there's that rule to where you can't kill someone. In the freaking Dark Tournament,
you're allowed to kill.
All bets are off.
Yeah.
And the one thing I remember was that Team Urameshi was going to do it. And if I remember, anytime Hiei did it, I believed that caused some strife amongst the team.
I think it did, yeah.
Yusuke and Kuwabara was against it. I think neutral, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, because I don't think he said anything, but I think Kurama had that sense of, well, if I have to, I have to.
While Hiei was like, I don't care. I don't listen to no one but me.
I mean, he literally charred a guy to the wall. There was nothing left of that guy. He got charred.
The introduction to one of my favorite techniques.
Dragon of the Darkness Flame!
Yes. Everything about that technique pleases the Woofy Floof.
I don't know why my voice got really close to Hiei's just now. That concerns me.
Yeah, Nani?
I don't know, and it concerns me.
Female Hiei on the channel soon?
Maybe. Considering I got pretty close, but if I can do a female Hiei, that also means I can do a female Android 17.
And, you know, and obviously too, right, you know, we are introduced to some more great characters. I mean, you have Jin.
Oh, Jin is such a goober.
And then there's Chu.
Chu, oh my god. Chu is hilarious as heck, especially with how he has him and Yusuke end up fighting in the tournament.
Yeah. Going back to the whole no killing thing, and I remember too, like, the whole audience there was getting pissed that they weren't
killing, yeah.
Killing. And what's also notable about this was that the fifth member is Genkai.
Yeah.
But she used something to make her appear younger.
This is very true, she did. And
no one... Go on.
The funny thing is with that as well, we also didn't get to know it was her until, which fight was it? It's one of her fights where her mask thing that she's wearing gets cut off.
Here's the thing, you can tell it's her because it's the same...
And same outfit, yeah.
Yeah, same outfit. Like, I knew that it was her. I was just curious why she was bandaged up, and now I know.
Yep. Anyways, you can continue with what you were saying.
And obviously, too, you know, this is the arc that we get introduced to that mysterious Yoko Kurama that we heard a little bit throughout the series. And boy, does he leave a very big impression on you.
Yeah, he does.
And if I remember correctly, I don't think the audience realized what was going on, did they?
No. They didn't realize it at first because when he makes his first appearance, the arena gets covered in fog.
Yeah.
So they had no idea what was going on until it was already said and done.
Yep. And... But yeah, you know, even in... I mean, the Dark Tournament is filled with... But I mean... Genkai, God dang it. Genkai passing on the Spirit Wave Orb.
Yes.
To Yusuke, and just seeing her actually show concern because of what that thing was doing to Yusuke, which, if there was two things I disliked about the live action series, it's how we barely had any Genkai, and the whole freaking orb. It was like, here, I want you to have this. Okay. That's it. Easy.
Yeah, there's a few things they could fix upon with that.
But I mean, you know, the live action series was only 5.
This is very
true. They couldn't really fit everything.
Sadly.
And let's see what. And then of course, you know, there's the whole fight between Toguro and Genkai, which resulted in Genkai dying, and then we see, and then even people's reactions to it, like that was the biggest thing, was that everyone sensed it.
Yeah, everyone sensed that,
and then of course Yusuke's reaction to it. You know, he does that massive, you know, spear gun that got everyone else's attention, including Toguro.
Yeah, I remember that, And I remember you going, "Oh, he's upset." It's like, yeah.
And then, of course, the fight against Team Toguro was great.
Oh, God.
Except for Kurama's. He literally lost to it.
That still upsets me to this day. The fact that man lost to a dead guy.
Do you remember my reaction to that?
I think you also got upset as well, and you was also wondering, how does someone lose to a dead guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the thing, right? You know, the whole council was literally rigging the tournament against Team Urameshi.
Yeah.
But, you know, as we later find out, even though that it was Sakyu's tournament, Toguro was calling the shots.
This is very true.
You know, and then of course the fight featuring Yusuke and younger Toguro was great. I mean, once again, great choreo. I mean, having Pooh evolve when, like, Yusuke, you know, brings out his full power after Wabara, quote-unquote, died.
Yeah.
And the fact that Genkai Spirit was talking through Pooh was great.
Yeah. It's also funny too when you start hearing Genkai talk through Pooh.
Cracks me up because Pooh's eyes become very similar to Genkai's.
Kai's, yeah.
You know, but yeah, you know, the Dark Tournament arc, I enjoyed it. Even though that there were times I...
That was your inner Fang coming out there, dear, on that.
Anyways, next.
Next would be Chapter Black.
I love this arc too. That has a very unique villain that I can't fucking hate. No matter how much I want to, I can't.
It's like, no matter how much I want to hate him, I can't. It's just impossible for me.
Because, in a sense, he is literally Yusuke's predecessor. He was a freaking spirit detective when he wanted to stop because he didn't want to kill demons because he saw demons
get tortured, pretty much.
Yeah. And then he met Itsuki. Which those two together is very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
The whole team that Sensory has is interesting. There's some great moments in the...
Oh, can I point out one moment that we will both agree on?
What?
The moment Kurama got severely pissed off because of them having to do the thing they had to do to a child.
Yeah. And I remember that if I remember correctly, I believe Yusuke or Wabara was getting worried that if this would be Yoga Kurama kind of...
That was Yusuke. That was Yusuke that was worried about that.
And I think there's a point, and if I remember, I believe Kurama asked nicely for them to shut up before he loses any sort of logic.
Yeah.
So that even tells me that maybe Yoko Kurama also has that line.
You have a point with that one.
Because at the end of the day, you know, human body or not, he's still Yoko. Even if he's not in the form.
Yeah, he's still Yoko.
You know, the fact that it was him that took out Older Toguro is great. I enjoyed that.
Oh, especially with how he took him out, which I might put the scene in there. I'll have to make sure that ain't YouTube restricted because I know how that scene goes.
Try to make it transparent.
Yeah, I'll try to make it transparent.
One other moment that's great is after Yusuke and you see Team oh my god, I said their names plenty of times in this video. Team Urameshi's reaction. Keep in mind, Kurama was probably still pretty angry to what they had to do, and the fact that they took someone out that they all viewed as an equal, and in my opinion, they kind of viewed as it pissed all of them off. I mean, heck, like, you know, Kurama goes into Yoko, and freaking Hiei, like, you know, when he launches Dragon of the Darkness Flames, like, when he says, you know, I'll make sure that you burn in hell, you bastard, you can hear his voice crack, you can hear pain.
Yeah, he was upset, but was trying his best not to show it.
And, like, think about it, right? All of Yusuke's teenage life, he was always looked down. He was seen as this kid. This terrible delinquent. He didn't really have that many friends but Keiko and of course Kuwabara. And then all of a sudden but as it turns out, the people that make up Team oh my god.
Urameshi.
Yeah.
You're welcome, dear.
They're all outcast in their own way. I mean, yeah, quite literally, all four of them are freaking outcast. If you think about it.
Yeah, there's Yusuke and Kuwabara, who are technically quote-unquote delinquents when they're not.
Hiei was literally casted out from his village.
And then Kurama was literally kind of casted out of Demon World because he was being hunted down.
Yeah. And then we find out that, you know, Yusuke is a half-breed.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then, of course, you know, one moment is when we see the first clue of who took Yusuke's kill. And then, of course, you know, there's the part where you have Yoko and Hiei laughing.
I find that that part still shocks me to this day because it's like it's the first legitimate time we actually hear Hiei laugh.
And then, of course, Hiei passes out, so they have to put him on the back of Pooh. And then, of course, Keiko's reaction to Yusuke's long hair. Yeah, you know, I love that arc. Do I like it as much as Dark Tournament? No.
Well, since we finished up that arc, are you ready for the next and last arc?
I guess. I'm starting to get...
Oh no, he's starting to get sad. No! This is like when we got near the end on our watch together. He's like, "There's no way this is the end." And I'm sitting here going, "Yeah, this is the last bit of the Yu Yu." What? Yes. Three Kings arc.
You know, a lot of people, I guess, consider that arc kind of like the worst arc of Yu Yu. I've seen videos pop up about it. I don't watch it because all I care about is my opinion.
Exactly.
I really enjoyed it because it got more, because we got to learn about Demon World.
This is true, we did.
The fact that we got to learn about Yusuke's more, more about Yusuke's family is great. And now I'm kind of curious if Yusuke's mom in the manga knew about that. And, there's Ryzen, who's a tragic character, actually.
Oh, yeah, this poor man. Oh.
You have Yomi, and then you have Makuro. Now, ironically enough, it's called the Three Kings. Now, I don't want no one getting angry at me. To me, it's more the two kings, the one queen.
I mean, you aren't wrong on that.
Because that's literally what it is. However, I'm not going to argue with the creator of a series. At the end of the day, that's an opinion. The fact is, they are considered the Three Kings. Like I always say, there's a difference between opinion and fact.
This is very true.
The one thing that this arc was that when you have Kurama, being around Yomi, you start to see that he's starting to struggle more and more with his identity. There's a moment to where he's and how his facial features are. It's very similar to Yoko.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how this is the first inkling that the Suichi part of his identity is actually afraid of the Yoko part. It's almost like he's afraid that he's gonna end up doing bad things again, and it does show, it does show you how important it is that he has Yusuke in them, because they kind of help keep him grounded. And then of course, there's his mother too, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we learn about, Ryzen's friends, and Hiei meets and a lot of the tension from this arc comes from Kurama, because you don't know what he's gonna do. You don't know, because they do a bit of a red herring to where, it seems like he could be the villain of this arc.
Yeah, they
Which,
make
honestly,
it very conspicuous with that.
But then it finds out that he's gathering a lot of his friends who's been training with Genkai all this time.
I know.
Because he was going to... It was to help Yusuke. because there's a power struggle going on. They know that Ryzen is about ready to kick the bucket. So, if I remember from that arc, leave both parties were possibly going to ransack Ryzen's castle and take over.
I believe so, yes.
And then that's when Yusuke thought of the tournament because of the Dark Tournament. This time, they made it to where no one gets RIP. So in this case, it's a more standard tournament like we see in Dragon Ball. Which I didn't mind that at all. See Kodo. We got to see a very nice tribute to Togashi's wife, which, if you guys didn't know, his wife created Sailor Moon. So you see Koema dressed up as Tuxedo Mask.
Yep.
And of course Botan and all that. And one of my favorite moments from that is when you see you see Yusuke bringing out the sacred energy, and then there's this awesome, this awesome.
Are you talking
music.
about? Yeah, I was about to say the OST.
And then, you have a lot of people reacting, and then of course you hear the words that Genkai was telling him all those arcs back about you're fighting for them, for their future, and you see all of his friends. And then of course there's a part that I have a strong theory of, to where once Yomi says basically what's going on, all of a sudden you hear Kuwabara say, I'll tell ya, he's gonna kick your butt like a regular name guy in a wrestling match. And then immediately Kurama senses him, says his name, and then he realizes he wasn't there. We all know that Kuwabara is very sensitive to those sort of things.
Yeah.
He's very spiritually aware. So he might have knew what was going on and probably projected himself there for that bit, which was why Kurama smiled. And then we find out that basically that Yusuke lost. The guy that won was Ryzen's
his friend, yeah.
Yeah, who married someone that had a thing for Ryzen.
The irony.
And then basically what happens is he decides to join up with Makuro. Then he ends up later on, which we find out this in the OVA, he ends up working directly under the president of Demon World, which was Ryzen's friend.
Yep, he's pretty much a guardian that makes sure if humans accidentally come into Demon World, he gets them back out immediately.
Yeah. And now, before the Three Kings arc start, how long have we been recording?
We're almost at 40 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
It's fine!
I forgot to mention the fact that, Keiko was getting tired of Yusuke just running into danger, and, she was actually going to break up with him, but then he decided, I'm going to show you I'm serious. I'm going to propose to you.
Yeah, that... And the way he did it, too, was hilarious. He's just sitting there eating a bowl of ramen when he legit just out of nowhere says it.
So, I figured I would get that. I forgot to mention that. Is that basically what happens is... And if I remember, I got feels because, you know, Yusuke and are saying their goodbyes for the time. As it turns out, it's not the final time. But at the time of the series conclusion, it was.
Yeah.
So like you literally see Koema in his teenage form, but then it shows him in his more toddler breath form. Which is very symbolic because that's, that was the form that Yusuke first met him in.
Yeah.
And then he goes, says goodbye to Ryzen. Which, let me tell you, watching that scene now, with you knowing everything that's happened to me during this past couple months, it definitely hits a lot harder.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm referring to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. And he goes off back to his world, and well, Kuwabara meets up with Kurama. They get on a train. So does Keiko. Keiko has had enough of waiting for Yusuke, and then Yusuke shows up. Keiko glomps him, kisses him, and that's the end of the series.
Yeah. Okay. I know we've been going for 40 minutes, but I gotta ask you these little small questions.
Go on.
Out of all the arcs, which one's your favorite?
The Dark Tournament.
Okay. Out of all the characters that we've come to know and love, give me your top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Is tying characters a lot, or do I have to actually pick 5?
You have to actually pick 5.
Okay. Yusuke.
Okay.
Now, I know you say that I shouldn't tie.
But you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it anyway.
I'm gonna factor Yusuke and Keiko's dynamic is very important to the series.
This is true. So she kind of has to be tied in on that one.
Not to mention they are basically me and you.
That she has a slap and a half.
Yeah. My second favorite, I think it's got to be Hiei.
Not bad.
Number 3, Kurama. Although technically speaking, they're actually tied, but you're not, ties.
Okay, tie. Who would you tie with Kurama?
Toguro.
You know what? I'll allow the ties since you.
Okay,
I'll allow the ties.
Well then, if that's the case, I'm bumping Kurama up, tying with,
Yeah.
Yeah, which, in actuality, I could probably tie them up with Yusuke and Keiko. I'm not. Number 3, it's Toguro and Genkai. Number 5, it's gotta be Kuwabara. Come on.
Kuwabara is a cool character.
And also Yukina.
Okay, so did you enjoy it when I showed it to you?
Obviously, because I'm so talkative. And I want merch.
I said I want more. Give me more.
No. I want merch.
Oh, I know.
Wait, did you ever get us any Yu Yu merch since then?
I think I've got us some, but then not a lot because it's hard to find Yu Yu merch.
No, it's not. Just go on Big Bad Toy Store. There you go.
Okay, never mind then.
You should know that. I showed you.
I know, I forgot! I do recall getting some of the Yu Yu stuff off there though, and I legit forgot to go back to get the rest.
Pog.
But, that will be it, guys, for this video. And, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys!
Later, guys.
We can't let evil win, take them out. This is justice, this is what's right.